I just had a root canal, so if it looks like I got beat up, that's why. Hello, it's Echo, and today I want to show you how to make this. Look, doesn't it look so flat and like it's printed, but better? Poster quality color. This is technically a painting. So the interesting thing about this painting is that it's actually made using the same technique that used to be used for animation cells. This technique is also really cheap if you already have the paint, because this frame was only $1. You can get these like diploma frames at the dollar store, and they make really good little art project posters. Oh, it looks so good and high quality. I've seen people actually use this technique on TikTok to make things like anime still frames or like recreate their favorite cartoons and stuff. Before the digital age, animation was actually physically drawn and painted on plastic sheets. Do you know if animation cells were originally plastic or glass?
Celluloid, made of cellulose nitrate.
So they were plastic sheets. Those like they're kind of like sheet protectors almost.
Yes.
And they usually have like the 3 holes in them so that you can just put them on the animation board when you're scanning everything.
Yep.
The way animation frames used to be made before the digital age is that they would actually be drawn by hand and then copied and mirrored, and then someone would take a plastic sheet and go over it, trace it, and then paint in all of the individual sections for the cartoons. So the back always looks really messy and weird, but then when you flip it over, it looks like this. Look at that. It's so pretty and like flat. For the cartoon SpongeBob, the very first season was actually done using these painted cell frames, where everything after that was done digitally. So for some really old cartoons, sometimes at like comic book conventions and stuff, you can actually buy the individual cells that were originally used in the cartoons. I actually bought a SpongeBob cell for my younger sister for one of her birthdays. I think this is more vivid than like a poster. This is more flat and clear than something that I think could be printed relatively cheaply, especially considering that this frame was only $1. The paint that I used to make this is from my acrylic Arteza art set. If you want links to the products that I'm using, I'll put them in the description. So I tried to make this process as accessible as I possibly could, so the only things you're really gonna need for this are a $1 frame from the dollar store, some paint, a piece of paper, and some type of computer screen. Preferably something larger, like a desktop, and not a phone. I decided to use my iPad. I love Gudetama. I love Gudetama, this like lazy egg. I think he's adorable. He's one of my favorite Sanrio characters. And there's also gonna be like a Sanrio movie on Netflix, which I'm very excited about. So I decided to use this as a very good base sample. Once you have an image you want, you're going to have to take it and mirror it, and that is to like flip it, especially if there's text. Otherwise, the text is going to be backwards. Then you're going to pull it up on your screen. I was using an iPad, so it was roughly the same size. Then you're going to take your piece of paper, put it on top of the screen, and trace out all of the shapes. While I was doing this, I actually labeled all of the different area with what color they're going to be. So W for white, LY for light yellow, and so forth. And if you look, you can actually see where I drew even the highlights, and I just traced around them, so I knew kind of where I was going with all of this. The next thing I did was I took the glass from my frame and I taped it down on top of my paper. I wanted to show you the 2 main ways that you could go about making line art for this, so I used 2 different methods. For the line art of the egg, I actually painted the black outline just using black paint. It's kind of uneven. I don't think it's as good as the other method. I think it holds up a little bit better when you're painting behind it, but you also have to wait for it to dry a little bit longer. Gudetama, the actual egg, I just traced it with a Sharpie. If you want very thin, very crisp lines, I'm gonna recommend just using a Sharpie. But if you don't have access to a Sharpie, then you can just use black paint and just paint very thin lines. It is possible, it just might not look as good. Once I had the outlines, I did the highlights, the shadows, all of the like smaller things that were probably going to get covered by the bigger color sections. If you're doing like a picture of an anime character, then I recommend doing like the shadows on their faces and stuff first before doing the rest of the colors. Another thing that I really need to point out with this is that the paint needs to be kind of thick. I ended up putting on 2 to 3 layers of every color on this piece, because otherwise you can really see through it, especially if the paints are semi-transparent. You need like fully opaque paint. I'll probably want to make another one of these using my apple barrel, because that's my like dirt cheap Walmart paint. But I feel like it would work just as well. This is a really good way to make some really nice, fancy fan art. Like the colors are so beautiful and flat. Look at how vastly different the front and back of this thing are. The back looks like a complete mess, and it doesn't matter because the glass flattens the paint, especially considering that this cost me $1. Compared to the cost of canvas, this is incredibly cheap. This is very affordable. There were some areas where the paint wasn't completely dry and I started doing other layers way too soon. Also, that says Gudetama. Yeah, I'm getting better at reading Japanese. Christmas is coming up. If you don't have the greatest budget but you do have some spare time, now might be a good time to run to the dollar store, get a bunch of frames and use whatever paint you have to make some, I don't know, pictures of pets or your friend's favorite anime characters. These are like nice, thoughtful gifts. They're easy to make. I highly recommend doing something like this, if nothing else, just for fun. I feel like an artsy teenager could do this relatively easily. So if you don't have a lot of money because, I don't know, we're in a recession or because you're a teenager, make some of these. They're like nice gifts. So after this video goes live, go join me on Twitch because I'm actually going to be painting some of these live. I think it'll be fun. I hopefully will see you around. Ooh, what if I painted VTubers on Twitch? I think I might paint some VTubers maybe. I don't know. Go to Twitch. Go see what I'm doing up there. I'll try to do like a multiple hour live stream. If I can, I want to start streaming on Mondays regularly. It's just hard for me to get in the habit of actually sitting down to stream and everything, but we'll get there.
Want me to nag you?
Yeah, that's all I have for you. I just wanted to tell you that I'm going to be painting some things on Twitch and show you how to do a fun little project that might be good for gift giving for the holiday season. Talk to your family about their favorite cartoon characters during Thanksgiving as a sneaky way to figure out who to paint for them. That is all I have for you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and I will see you later. Goodbye. Goodbye.